Joining me today in the studio is Joshua Burgin, who serves as the coordinator of the New Security Leaders Program at the Warsaw Security Forum and as an advisor to the European Academy of Diplomacy. In addition to his international affairs, he is political campaign expert and has managed campaigns in states of Florida and Massachusetts. He has also written a book entitled The Primal Scream: Why America's Broken Politics Elected Donald Trump and Why It Could Happen Again. So, welcome, Joshua. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
First question, when the next elections are done, on the night of the election, you will finish your next book. And if Donald Trump wins, how would you start the book, or how would you name it?
Oh, damn. Good question. See, I told you so.
See, I told you so. Right. And this brings us to age. I wanted to ask you that. So both Biden and Trump are baby boomers, is that correct?
They are. Baby boomers indeed.
Question is, why don't baby boomers let everything go and let America have younger, more dynamic, more vibrant people to rule them?
Andre, it's not just an American problem. We see countries around the world where octogenarians or centenarians are still holding on. But to your point, it's also not just our presidential candidates. Yes, Trump is in his late 70s. Biden is in or near his 80s. But we have the same thing with our senior leaders in the Congress. Mitch McConnell, leader of the Senate, notably having health problems right now, in his 80s. Nancy Pelosi, did you see this? Nancy Pelosi just announced that she's running again for the Congress.
Maybe she has a lot of energy, vitality.
Or just the fear of letting go. And this FOMO or the adrenaline that comes from being needed. I think that matters in a sense because it's not limited to the U.S. We see it around the globe in politics.
And it's an interesting psychological effect, I think, like putting Lukashenko, Trump, but all other people who are aged enough, in a way, who don't let go. We would suggest, as you said, it's an existential threat. So if I'm not needed, then I'm dead, basically. So it's a fear of death, which manifests this way.
And certainly in some cases, I can't disagree with the logic at the sort of macro level. Again, I've seen this with my own eyes in multiple places, from Hillsborough County, Florida, where I grew up, members of the county commission who'd been city council, who'd been elected to the state house, come back to the county commission because it was the biggest paycheck. They're retiring with that paycheck, and they're still holding on till their last breath, basically. And I think, well, this is terrible. But I saw the same thing in Ramallah on a tour of the West Bank in Israel a few years ago. So it's a fairly universal principle.
A few things on U.S.-Ukraine relationships. When do you think Ukraine will receive the actual F-16s, not only from the Netherlands and Denmark, but maybe from the U.S. itself?
So through my network, I'm aware that the site inspections have been done for runways and serviceability space. I understand through other voices that that this is nearer rather than farther away. F-16s, that is. ATACMS, again, they're on that vector. There seems to be approaching every day a greater likelihood. I personally think we're being weak in how we're dealing with Russia.
Why?
I think that Biden should have shown up and drug his European counterparts and walked down the streets of Kiev with Zelensky before the war started. They were signaling the war was going to start. We knew the war was going to take place. I think Biden should have done a show of unity then. I think sooner rather than later, we should be, NATO should amass troops in Poland on the border with Russia and say, you're done. They should put 300,000 people there and tell them openly, you're done. We're giving you this amount of time where we're going to engage. This is more hawkish than anybody you'll hear in the U.S., but Russia only understands one thing, and that is physical power. And all the hand-wringing and all the conversations and all the, let's negotiate a mutually beneficial outcome, the only thing Russia can hear is, you will be harmed. So whenever they do the saber rattling around nuclear weapons, the U.S. or the NATO Western response should be lockstep in the following voice: you will hurt us. We will evaporate you.
Right now, it's a great time to finish this episode. Thank you, Joshua Burgin.